Yes, guys. It's Sunday. It's Sunday, guys. This means another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their careers and lives and books and campaigns, because I am done with mainstream comics, guys. And indie comics is where the passion is and where the fun is. So, yeah, welcome, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. My weekend has been busy. Finally, the last shipments went out this week for American Bliss. Then I had to ship out everything from the Perfect 10 Second Chance campaign on FundMyComic. And I think I'm completely done. Guys. And I'm happy. I'm happy that you guys are keeping me busy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. Let's see. Already some people in the chat. This is awesome. This is awesome. We have the Jaded One. Welcome, Jaded One. Good afternoon. Thank you so much. How are you, Jaded One? And we have Mike. Mike is in the chat. Hello there. It's been a while. I hope you had a great vacation current weekend, Dave. Yes, the vacation was great. Vacation is over. So tomorrow I need to go back to work, unfortunately. But, we need to earn some money besides the comic business. It needs to happen. So, yeah. Welcome, Mike. Nice to see you. And Brittany Lane. Welcome, Brittany Lane. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Welcome. Always cool to see some new people. All right, guys. For today, I have two guests for today with a awesome looking campaign. So let's just get this thing going. Let's not have them wait any longer. So let me see if I have everything set. I think I have everything set. So, all right. Welcome to the show, Mathew Boyce and Roy Moscicki.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
Right. Hi,
Thanks
guys.
so much for having us on today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for coming. So, yeah. Awesome. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
It's a little rainy here today, but other than that, the spirits
Rainy?
are pretty good. Yeah, it's
Busy.
a little under the weather, busy. But,
yeah.
hey,
holiday weekends don't mean anything when you're an artist.
That's right.
You got stuff to do.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Sundays, rest days? No. That
No.
doesn't...
No, Sunday. I can squeeze this in too now.
Yeah, right.
Sunday is a squeezing day.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
No rest for the wicked, as they say.
Whew. Okay, guys. Before we start, this is the question I need to ask all my guests, right? So let's start with you, Ron. Ron,
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
What am I actually? I don't drink. So and I've actually never drank. So the only thing I have here is an Atkins protein bar. That's it.
Okay. Well, that's
so
whatever.
That's all I got. I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter. Whatever gets you through the stream, right? So,
yeah.
That's
Matt, what are you drinking?
I'm gonna enjoy a Bud Light, although I'm not by choice. They make a carb-free one. I do the keto thing, and
really?
They make a carbohydrate-free. It's not even. It's a shame to call it even a beer. It really it kind of tastes like
it's a beer like marm.
It's it's kind of like a beer threw up in seltzer. Like that's really what it tastes like. But it's not too bad. I'm gonna have me cold one of those in just a moment.
All right. I saw some more people joining up. Logan Affling, welcome, Logan. Welcome. Jamil. Making tons of food and cleaning my place while listening in. Nice, relaxing time for a hot and humid day. Right, so it's hot and humid there, and it's rainy over
Very
there.
humid. It's
very humid.
And it's an armpit here. It's so humid. And if the sun was out, it would be killer.
Whew, yeah. Okay, Brittany Lane is enjoying some iced coffee. Sounds good.
Rub it in.
Right. And Bristolian Dave is here. All right, me babbers. Welcome, Dave. Nice to see you, sir. Right. Okay. I think I got everyone. I don't want to miss anyone. Guys, in the chat, if you have any questions for Ron and Matt, just drop it in the chat and we will ask them. Right. All right, guys. Ron, Matt, so you make a comic book together. What's the role? Who does what?
Oh, okay. I'm the artist and co-creator. Matt is the writer and co-creator. The original idea, basically, from this big giant kaiju face behind us, that's Nagara. That's Matt's baby. That's where it all started 20 years ago. And if you want to take it from there, you go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, no, I think that pretty accurately sums it up. Like I kind of had a skeleton of the story and kind of where I wanted to go with it. And I'd been thinking about it for 10 plus years at the time I met Ron. And it was really just before then I had really thought about, well, what if I did a comic book and thought about like what it would look like to work with another person and things like that. And I just serendipitously met Ron one day, asked him if he wanted to get together and talk about it. And we really hit it off. So usually what'll happen is I'll kind of, pitch an idea for a monster and kind of describe what that might look like. And we would, I'd give you some pictures on occasion and
if needed.
Yeah, if needed. And
sometimes not.
Yeah. Sometimes it just
not
flows.
needed. Just a little bit of description. And me and Matt are very, very much in sync, like brothers from another mother kind of thing. So I hit the nail on the head first time out usually. So
yeah, I would say that's probably more. I would say more often.
Probably every time.
Like pretty much.
I'm not bragging, but it's just the way it happens.
Right,
So, yeah.
and because I don't know, we're just very much in tune with.
Yeah, we work very quickly because we kind of already know what we're thinking, where we're going, where we want to end up, and when we create stories, which we have many stories, Sector-7 being the first one, which is kaiju based. Other stories are not kaiju based. It's very quick and it's my favorite part of the process, actually. The meeting of ideas. That's a lot of fun. The rest is fun, but it's work. You know what I mean? But the idea phase is my favorite phase.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely.
So did you already know each other, or did you meet through the process?
No, actually, I was drawing a comic for another person locally just for fun, and I went to Office Max back when Office Max existed in Batavia.
Like 2012-ish.
Yeah,
maybe?
it's an office supply store, and I went there to make copies, and Matt was in the back doing the copy part of it, and that's where we met. Literally doing making copies of my drawings, and then he said, "Wow, I got an idea," just like he said, and he invited me to his house, and literally, even then I still lived a few blocks away, just in a different house. So I've never lived very far from Matt, which is weird. Literally, like he said, the first day, the first meeting, 3 hours, he had the skeleton and we built the body together.
Yeah. And like we became best buds in the process.
Yeah,
so this is
really
this is not only really cool, like I get to work with, not only an extremely talented artist, but my best friend. We can talk about anything together. We our families are friends. It's just a really great situation.
Yeah.
Right. It also helps to be honest, right? If you don't like something, your friends, so there's good intent there. So the business relationship changes a little bit. You can be honest about the story or the direction you're taking things, right?
Yep. It's got whatever disagreements that we've had, which there may have been a half a disagreement somewhere, I'm sure. It's extremely rare, but it needs to not fit the opinion of the person. It needs to be what's best for the book.
Yes.
And that's how basically the idea wins out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't think of too many instances. We have little maybe differences in perspective on certain things. Yeah. But more often than not, like I said, on some ideas, on a few ideas I've given Ron very, very specific descriptions. But honestly, I can say, hey, what if we did this, and give him a rough idea? And if it's artwork, he's going to produce something that literally he's pulling it out of my skull. And, if it's a storyline thing, I would say there's very few occasions where we don't mesh.
Yeah.
Very, very,
very,
few.
very few, which is thank God, because that's a pain in the ass. That's just hours wasted on trying to convince the other person. And oh my God. So no, that's what makes it my favorite part. The initial idea phase, because it's just the most fun in a very condensed couple hours, So
yeah, that's it. Creating ideas, that's the fun part, and usually the most easy part. But then you actually have to take it to the next level. You have to create something with it, right?
Yeah,
and that's often work that the many new creators underestimate, I think. But you said you met in 2012, right?
Yeah, probably 2011,
around there.
Right.
I'm horrible with time. I have no idea what day it is most of the time. So
I'd say minimum 11 years, 11 to 13, somewhere in that range.
But does this mean you already produced books before Sector-7?
No, I was not working, but I was drawing a comic just with a bunch of friends. You know what I mean? That never went anywhere. Drawing comics for me has literally just started happening in the past 4 to 6 months, because it's just timing. Like I've been drawing forever, but no one knew who I was because I just didn't have enough free time in my life to actually put out what I needed to put out as often and be able to keep, if I do something, I want to keep my word. And if I don't think I'm going to do it, I won't even start it. I don't like letting people down. It's the worst feeling in the world for me.
Yeah.
So I needed to wait till there was a point in my life, and I started late in life. Even my first child, I didn't have till I was 40. So speaking of my first child, Clark, buddy, you wanted me to say hi. How you doing? Say hi to my 2 stepdaughters, even Anna, and then everyone's little friend from down the street, Elise. Love you guys. This has been the first time, to be very honest, that life around me has calmed down enough to where I could really put a lot of effort, because I knew it would require. I've been studying this for 20 years. I'm under no disillusions that this is going to be easy. Mm-hmm. I know what it takes to make this work, and I wasn't going to do it if I didn't have the time. So now I'm at a point in my life where there's the basic distractions that everyone else has, and that's just life. There's nothing you can do about that. Mm-hmm. There's not the extra heavy stuff that would have kept me from meeting deadlines and stuff like that. So this is my first actual push career-wise into comic books, even though I'm going to be 47 this month. So,
right. Hey, Stan Lee started late also, so you never know.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, literally, it's funny. I'm 47, and my career is just starting. So I've got a lot of time to do a lot of good things. So,
right. I saw Dr. Ino in the chat. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Dr. Ino. The doctor is in. Yes. Okay, so Matt, you were the concept creator, right? You were the writer?
Yeah, so it really just spawned of my love of giant monsters, and it's been a lifelong obsession. I was probably like 3 years old when I stumbled upon my oldest brother's VHS tape of Godzilla versus Megalon back in the 80s. I had the little, 1986 Imperial, plastic Godzilla figure, and it was my favorite thing in the world. And just absolutely love the genre, and I'm still super obsessed with it. I have remained a part of that community online for a number of years, and that's actually when I started coming up with this idea for Nagara and friends, and that is what did I essentially being a part of that community. Someone asked me, because I was a writer, they're like, oh, hey, do you want to, do some fan fiction in this group of folks working on Godzilla stuff? And I really thought about it and considered it. And then I was like, the thing is, like, I feel like I'm a good writer. I eventually became an English teacher. That's my profession now.
Oh,
and
okay.
So I love literature. I love writing. I love characters. And I was just like, if I put all this effort into this, Godzilla is a copyrighted character. I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. Like, unless I work for, Toho, which is, highly unlikely, or at least, out of the realm of feasibility at the time. So I was like, why don't I make my own sandbox to play in? And that's what, spawned Nagara. I had some art done up for him. I had started writing a few different stories, but they were like false starts. Like I didn't get very far into them, and I just couldn't feel out what it was I wanted to be, and life kind of took over. Like I was consumed, trying to provide for my family, and I'm a single dad. I've got 3 kids now. 2 of them are teenagers. I care for them full time, so that is a full-time job for me.
Sure.
And that's what I was mostly focusing on back then. And then, just trying to decide, like, hey, I've got to take a chance somewhere. I believe that I'm capable of doing this. I believe other people would want to read what I write and what I create. So I can't do anything about it unless I try. And that's been kind of my mindset in various areas over the past 5 years or so. And it kind of what took me out of my comfort zone of, dead end print shop jobs and made me get, I'll be done with my master's in August, my master's degree in literacy education. I plan on pursuing a PhD in English literature, and in pursuing these endeavors. So it's very busy, very stressful, especially, right now trying to, work a single parent full time and go to school full time, and also launch a comic book. But it's also rewarding and it's exciting too.
Right. Yes. Exciting stuff, man. So what made you decide that this had to be a comic book instead of something else, like a novel or something?
I think it was just I have, older media from like the 90s and 2000s that I grew up reading the Godzilla young adult novels, and there's a few other releases, and they were good, but they were never as compelling to me as like the films or the comic books. And it just kind of dawned on me. And I may revisit the idea of a novel or something like that down the road about kaiju, but it just dawned on me like how much of a visual genre it is. Like you can write those things, but to see the monsters battling is such an awe-inspiring thing. That's really like the crux of the entire like genre, is that these beasts inspire this childlike wonder in us, that they're larger than life, and they
Literally.
Yeah, right, they are just
literally they're huge.
They stoke the imagination. So I started to think, I'm like, well, one, how would I do that in a way that's that I'm capable of? I didn't have the means or the time to learn how to make films on a level where I thought I would do it justice. So comic books really became the obvious answer to that.
Right. And then you met Ron?
And then I met Ron.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And Ron was like, yeah, man, I love to draw some monsters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no problem. And this started so long ago, and we had already started to do this probably about 6 years ago. We have a bunch of pages drawn already. And then I had my son at 40, and that was like, holy cow. Like, I was slightly less insane with no sleep than my wife. So very quickly I started doing the overnights with Clark because he would just refuse to sleep. And I'm like, you know what? This comic is not happening now. This is not, because I'm barely staying alive at this point.
Yes.
So my son is going to be 6 in November this year. It's so that part of the struggle of raising a baby is done, which was completely insane. And so like I said, the big stressors of my life have finally kind of calmed down. Now it's just the normal stuff, paying the bills, and everyone's got that. So there's no excuse. So now is the time. And I figured I was going to do something anyways, because I was going to do like a sci-fi book with like a hot chick, because everyone loves hot sci-fi chicks, And then I was thinking at this time, like 6-7 months ago, I'm like, I'm not really ready to do this alone, I don't think. And me and Matt work so well together. We've already got pages drawn for Sector-7. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do Sector-7 first. And whether that was right or wrong, I don't know. But the thing is, I was like, Matt, I know your life is crazy, but I need to make a move financially and just try. And I said, I don't need you. Your part's done. It's already written. I just need you to show up when there's interviews and whatever else you can do. And he's like, okay, we're good. Go ahead. And that's when I literally signed up for my Twitter account because of this. That's it.
Right.
And so the social media thing, anything I do on social media is only because of this. I hadn't even been on Facebook since my son was born. So I hadn't even touched Facebook in like 6 years.
Well, that's not a bad thing, right?
No, it's not. It was not.
When you don't need to be there, stay away. But Twitter and Facebook, these are perfect platforms to market your stuff, right?
Like you have to. And the only mistake I would say, but it was a mistake that kind of had to happen, was we put the cart before the horse. The indie world is a different world than mainstream, and the fact of how you sell books and how popularity comes about. It seems that the indie world, you need the audience before the book. And in the mainstream world, a good book will get you the audience. Because when you walk into a comic shop, let's say you got $50, you've got enough cash to take some chances on some books. You know what I mean? If that cover is good, you're going to grab it. Because we all, as comic book people, we crave, it doesn't matter how much we have on our shelves, we need more. That's just how we are. That cover looks cool. You pick it up. You don't know what the story is. The interior art looks good. I'm spending $3.99. I'm giving it a shot, right?
Sure.
And then the creator off that book will then get the audience. The indie world seems to be different. You need the audience first so that they'll buy your book second. And I didn't know that. I didn't understand it. I just wrapped my head around it like a month ago. So I'm like, oh my God, like this is That's the only thing that we have against us is that we're literally brand new, like 4 months on the scene.
I was going to say, I think we're still kind of like that concept is still sinking in for me. So while it started off as like, you know, Matt, it's already written, like I'll handle, like it has become a huge investment of time. And one, it's I want to be careful how I talk about it, because one, it's incredibly addicting and rewarding to be able to work on this. And I actually want to be able to work more. Like, believe me, when I'm doing my literacy education homework, you know, that's not where my heart's at right now. That's not where I want to be. It's somewhere I know I got to be, you know, for my career and to better myself in that arena. But what I want to be doing is working on more content for this, and really that's looked like some different things. I've been trying to engage more with the kaiju community, that fandom, because they are super passionate. We have a history of being really neglected. I would say now there's probably more kaiju content out there than there has been in 30 years.
Yes.
Certainly in
Kaiju are like the new zombies, right? They're
It's getting to be that.
Suddenly you see them everywhere. Yeah.
Yep. It's like even Image Comics has more kaiju material now.
Yeah.
Although
that's not Godzilla, just different stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And just to answer Mike's question in the chat there, he asks if I prefer Godzilla to King Kong. I most certainly do. And what did I think of King Kong Lives? King Kong Lives is a fun movie. It's goofy. I love campy stuff. One of my favorite films in the genre is Gamera versus Gueron, where this giant fire-breathing turtle essentially takes on a monster that walks. It's like a dog with a knife for a head. It's really, it is super cheesy, and you know, it's just great. And you know, and when I say engage more with the kaiju community, we recently did a Let's Play video of like the NES Godzilla game for the original Nintendo Entertainment System. And we just had a blast. We had Matt Frank, who's in terms of Godzilla comic books is legendary. I will,
in America, there's no one else.
Right.
In America, in IDW, Matt Frank, there's no one else. It's Matt Frank.
He
jumped down the stream. It was so cool.
Yeah. And he came and hung out with us, and it was just a great time. And you know, so I've been trying to head up that side of things, because that's my world, and he's been engaging more with the indie comic scene. Yeah. Although we do things like this together.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty great.
Sure, right, excellent. I saw another question for both you guys from Brittany Lane. Thank you for the question. If each of you had to choose one most critical, in your opinion, change to bring to today's comic industry, what aspect would that be?
Wow.
That's a good question.
Wow. Yeah. Are we even the guys to, but I guess we are now. So
I don't know.
Fans, right? That qualifies.
Are you mainstream comic book readers, by the way?
I was. I think most of us were, you know, until ... You know, we all know what I'm talking about. So it's like, and my thing, I haven't read a mainstream comic that wasn't old, right? I haven't collected mainstream in years. For me, it's been at least 4 or 5 years, and it's not because I don't want to. I literally had to walk away. I had to. There's no point anymore. Okay, so what if you could choose most critical change to bring to today's comic industry? Okay, so this is I'll take this one since it's the comic side. Okay, I have found that it seems to be hard. I actually recently did a YouTube video about this. I have a YouTube channel I just started for this stuff to get our names out there. So it's going to be Romo Art on YouTube. Okay,
Romo Art
on YouTube, and it's just kind of it's going to be a lot of it's going to be like kind of a diary of doing and getting an indie book funded, and maybe things that other people in the indie industry don't really talk about, but everyone kind of seems to know. If you keep your ears open, everyone's got the same kind of gripe, you know? And I don't know how to fix it. That's the thing. I can point it out. There's a saying, a rising tide raises all ships. Okay, have you? I don't know if you've heard that saying before, Dave.
Yes, yes.
It might be like an American saying. It's more kind of like a capitalistic thing.
Right.
A rising tide raises all ships, and I don't honestly find that to be true. And I don't know how to fix it because it's no one's fault. It's no one's fault. So it seems that, everything in society, no matter where you go, is based in like a pyramid where there's a few at the top and then the trickle down to the bottom. Okay. And it seems that with the Ethan Van Skyvers and the Eric Julys and like the top, let's say 10 people in the indie world, it's almost the same thing. It's a tiny pyramid inside of the larger mainstream pyramid. It doesn't seem that the fan base for Eric's and Ethan's books and all those kind of 6-figure campaign guys, right? It doesn't seem that the fandom is trickling down to everyone else at the bottom. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying we should expect it to. This is literally just my perception, okay?
Yeah.
I think this is like hardwired societal behavior. One of the things that I found, and this just has to do purely with math, and I talked about it earlier, when we used to go to the comic shop and we had $50, we had enough money to take a few chances. You could buy 10 to 15 books with $50 every month,
right?
Every month, right?
Yeah.
Take that same $50 now in the indie world with a book. An average good book is about $20. Now you can buy 2. Yeah. So you went from being able to buy 10 to 15 to 2, and there's not a lot of people with 4 or 5 extra 50s laying around that want to just scan the indie world and see what else they can get. The mentality is very, very, very different. And I've come across this the hard way. Okay. And it's no one's fault. Anyone who's successful especially in the indie world has earned it. I don't care if they came in with a big audience. If you were able to come in with a big audience, you would use it too. I would. Yeah. Why not? Like,
more power to them.
More power to them. Everyone working deserves success. But the rising tide raises all ships. I don't see it, and I hope I'm wrong. And if it is kind of hardwired into society, I don't know how to fix it. I really don't. It seems the same grind,
right,
with a smaller pyramid instead of the larger mainstream pyramid. And that's just my perception of things. I don't think I'm wrong, but I hope I am, because I really want everyone that's creating anything that they love to make a living off of that. We deserve it because we work really, really hard, and no one owes us anything. It's not Eric's fault. Mm-hmm. It's not Ethan's fault. It's not Graham Miller's fault. It's no one's fault. It's just the way society structures itself. And I think that's the biggest problem in comics right now. And the indie world may just become the new mainstream world, but with just a smaller pyramid.
Right.
So I don't know how to fix that. I really don't. And I wish I could, because I want us all to be happy and live rich lives and be successful and do what we want to do for a living. I just don't know how.
It's still niche, the entire indie scene is still niche. Comics,
even
mainstream comics, it's a niche audience. So people know the mainstream characters from the movies, right? But just a small portion of that audience actually buys comic books.
Yes.
So, and in the indie world, indie comics, it's even smaller.
Yeah. The indie world is a niche of a niche. It's like double niched. Yeah. So how do you, and like I said, even though the price is like $20, let's say on average per book, the fact is the creators are giving you $20 worth of value. I mean, the books sometimes are 40 pages, sometimes they're 60 pages. It's not just a standard 22-page format. They're giving you the value. But the fact is, it's still roughly $20 per book. And when you have, like I said, like a 50, you can buy 2 instead of 15. And that's just a problem of math.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mike says, as Pete Samedi explained, corporations that took over the industry 20 years ago changed materials to premium qualities overall from simply newsprint for no reason other than greed. Yeah, it was. I think it had to do with competition also. So Image Comics came up, and they used different techniques, different printing material, right? So you had this competition going on, which is great for the customer.
Yep.
But then the 90s happened with the boom and all. You all know it, right?
God love the 90s. Oh God,
and
what a time! What a time that was, man. It'll never happen again.
Yeah,
it will never happen. I'm literally saddened daily because that'll never happen again. And it was so exciting. It was awesome.
Yeah, 90s great.
Unfortunately, those older newsprint materials and that older style, you would hope that there would still be like room for that somewhere. But really, I mean, when you think about it, if that were still viable, then companies and even indie folks would do it. Like,
Alterna Comics does it. They have newsprint. They have
is that right?
Cheap, they have rather cheap bundles. You can get plenty of comics for relatively cheap.
Yeah. So are those comics that are already like published and they're selling bundles of already printed comics, or
these are done. They have this complete catalog, so they're in the business for decades. I don't know how long. So yeah,
nice.
All right, so guys, let's take a look at your campaign, right?
Yeah.
So before we do that, let's have a little advertisement break. Here we go.
Access granted.
So why did it say farewell? Is that the name of the story, or was just farewell and the video?
Oh yeah, I was just signing off, saying goodbye,
right.
From us.
Okay, looked cool. Looked great. All right, let's present and then share the screen, and then we go to I think this one. Yes, this one, and then the share button. There we go. There it is, guys. FundMyComic. FundMyComic Sector-7. Look at this. You have 8 backers right now. You still have 54 days to go, so plenty of time to make this happen.
Plenty of time. Yep.
Yeah, excellent. So, what did you guys decide to go on FundMyComic?
You want me to take it? Or you want
to? Yeah, it don't matter.
Yeah, well, we first went on Indiegogo, so this is actually the relaunch. All right, so we first went on. Yeah. So we first went on Indiegogo, and it wasn't really doing much at all. And we were on Immortal Rising's YouTube channel, And the panel there had a few really successful people on there, and some people who were still doing very well on their own too in the indie world. And we got some advice. And I've said a few times in interviews and on my channel, if you get advice from people who are doing better than you, then listen. So I asked a few other people the next day, and they said, you know what? If you cancel this campaign now, you don't have a ton of people following it. You're doing it for professional reasons to make the next one better. And they're like, no one's going to hold it against you at this point. So we canceled the Indiegogo campaign, and
refunds were all sent out.
And we were always going to go to FundMyComic after the first issue of Sector-7 anyways.
Right.
And I said, well, the hell with it. We'll just go to FundMyComic now then. And we had already been talking to Luke Stone in different chats and that group of guys who are all very, very passionate guys, some of them doing very well with their campaigns. And it's just, we don't like to deal with all the political stuff. And FundMyComic basically is like, you know what? This is just for comics. This is strictly for comics. You're not going to go and, a lot of Indiegogo is actually tech related. So this is just comics. The percentage that they take is way lower, and there's really no political drama on there. Luke doesn't put up with it, which is awesome, because if the book is good, the book is good. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and it's nice too. We actually, when we were looking for some guidance through Indiegogo for like technical support and stuff, it was really almost impossible to get a hold of a real person.
Well, it wasn't. No, it was impossible. It was
yeah.
impossible. If you find the phone number, good luck to find it. If you find a phone number, the voice on the other end will tell you to send an email from the website. That's it. That's the closest you got to a real person. And with FundMyComic, like Matt was saying, you could literally talk to Luke, and the problem is solved. Like it's. And Luke has a lot of volunteers that help him. He probably wishes he had more at this point, but he will. He will, because the site is really, like, I'm hearing FundMyComic pop up on a lot of different, like, big channels now.
Yeah,
and it's
making waves. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the support system on Indiegogo is ridiculous. It's pretty useless, basically. With FundMyComic, you have actually people helping you out. They even market for you, right? So they post for you. On social media. It's fantastic. All right. Look at the pretty art. Cover A. I think it may be cool to first talk a little bit about the story, right? So what is the concept of Sector-7?
Absolutely. So where our story begins requires a little bit of setup. So one of our main characters, you'll see the elderly gentleman in a lot of our art. His name's Solomon Brand, and he's got quite the history behind him. He was pressed into service for the Nazis during World War II, specifically for his expertise in genetic engineering. I don't know if you know anything about the history, but the Nazis were into some weird stuff too. There's like some occult type things that they were, kind of all trying to experiment with and things like that. And the goal here was they wanted to create a super soldier that was not human, that was something that would not tire, would be relentless. And in the process, they kidnap this man's family and they force him to conduct these research and experiments on their behalf. Their first one ends up going terribly wrong or right, depending on your perspective. And it doesn't stop growing until it reaches massive size. Okay, so they're not able to control it. So they kind of put it into a sort of stasis, and they build a facility that can house it. And they thought to themselves, like, what are we going to do with this thing? And then they thought, like, if we could find a way to weaponize this is even better than what we planned in the first place. So moving forward as this goes on.
Thank you, Mike, by the way.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Mike's name is really good. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Mike loves the art. And he appreciates a deep
good story, too.
Yeah.
Good story. Go for it, bud. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, we get to the point where they continue on and more monsters are created that are easier to control through electronic and means, kind of like aimed by a pilot, so to speak, where they're still sentient creatures, like they have a mind, but they're able to be kind of directed. But for reasons we'll kind of reveal a little later, that never really comes to fruition. And we all kind of know how World War II fizzles out, with Hitler taking his own life and things of that nature. But these monsters are tucked away. They're hidden in this top secret facility, and no one really knows what happens. During the Cold War, fast forwarding a little bit, we all know that nuclear tensions were at a ridiculous high, and the space race was also a sort of result of this posturing, this political conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union. So during the moon landing, we thought, well, what would happen if the Cold War suddenly became very, very hot? And you'll actually see in some of the art there that while Neil Armstrong's on the surface of the moon, he's looking back at the Earth, and basically the countries back on Earth it's doomsday. They have all decided to unload their nuclear arsenal on one another, and it decimates the planet. Reduces the human population to a fraction of what it was. Back in 1969, I believe it was around 3.5 billion people. So you're probably talking like maybe a tenth of that left. And they've all had been forced to regroup and form new colonies in the southern hemisphere. There's an arbitrary or imaginary line where the Earth is no longer habitable, and we call that line the veil. So if you're going into Earth that is too contaminated to live in, we call that you're going beyond the veil. Okay, and then over the course of the next few decades, this man that assisted with these experiments, he actually develops all kinds of new technology. He develops life extension technology, revolutionizes energy production, as you can see in some of the artwork that Ron has provided. These vehicles, they had to make use of older resources and make them new again, make them functional again. And through Brand's technology, they're actually able to recycle a lot of old things and make them repurpose them for newer purposes. And food production is another one. So he's completely revolutionized the way society is able to live and obtain goods and really become healthy. And this utopia is sort of built off of that, which brings us, over the next couple of decades to our present day and where our story begins, where there's been this, utopian society in place worldwide. It's a one world government. And these 7 colonies are all under the same banner. And basically, everyone's like, oh, things are pretty great. But there's this unrest that is starting to build, this sort of fear as lives are extended, resources are still limited. They've been trying to research how to reclaim this area that was lost from nuclear war and make that livable again. But there's this fear, that the same fear we've always had, fear of not being enough. And that starts to build this unrest in people. And there's some organizations that are starting to form underground, and also some political powers that are in place that are starting to say, hey, we better start preparing, now before someone else, gets the idea that they're going to seize, power and doing those types of things. Because while there's small militia maybe and
it's basic security. There's no actual military anymore.
There's not a military. It's more basic security forces in place. They they're saying, hey, we better start arming ourselves and we better start preparing for the storm that's coming. And in the process, they're going into the veil looking for some of these things in what should be expeditions to do research to reclaim those areas. There's some folks that are are looking around for other things, and that's how these monsters that have been sealed away for so long have been discovered and come back into the picture.
Wow, fantastic! That's a lot of layers there going on.
It is very layered.
We wanted this to stand apart from the standard, at least in America, the standard kaiju book, where when you open up when you open the giant monster book, page 1, buildings are falling down, monsters. Page 2, buildings are falling down, monsters. And there's really, the humans are just there as background, just to kind of have a reason for there to be buildings to fall down.
Right.
And so we wanted to get away from that. We really wanted more of a cinematic approach, something with story depth that really in America, on this side of things, on the kaiju side, you don't usually see. And even art-wise, there'll be artists that can draw really good kaijus, but then their human characters not that great. You know what I mean? And we really wanted something new to deliver an entire package to someone. And my personal thing with comics, my favorite comic is Mark Millar's The Ultimates from Marvel's Ultimate line. When you hold each volume in your hand, you're holding a mini movie in your hand with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And those are my favorite. Those are so fun to reread over and over. And that's what we're doing here. This is only going to be 4 issues long. Each issue is only 4 issues. Issue 1 through 3 is going to be 40 pages. Issue 4 is going to be double print, double size. Literally, we want the last comic to actually be printed in a larger format. So it's like the IMAX experience for comics. Because the actions, there's going to be action in each book, but it builds up to be more and more and more. Then obviously in the last act, that's where everything goes crazy. And to have like an extra large size print of that would be so cool, I think. So yeah, when this is done, you will have a complete beginning, middle, and end in only 4 issues, and something to reread and love forever. Like, this will be it.
Wow. Great. Welcome, David Feed. Late as usual. Better late than never, David.
We'll forgive you, David.
Yeah. It's all good.
You guys got a lot of compliments. Jaded One loves the art.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Looks good. So Ron, you drew these vehicles. This is awesome.
Yes,
I browsed through this campaign earlier with a different stream, and these vehicles, I noticed. I really love how you combined this old tech with new tech.
Yes, thank you.
Really cool, man. So what's your process here when you design something like this?
Oh man, I mean, honestly, I don't even. Okay, so I will tell you this. The first draft, when I started doing pages 6 years ago, before my son was born, looked very different than this draft. Okay, so when I first started designing things, it was a very basic sci-fi look from the 80s, flying cars and everything, but stuff that you've seen before. And I just couldn't. I barely liked it when I was doing it then. That's all I knew how to do. And, fast forward 6 years, I could do more, and I couldn't let that stand. And I have a problem with going back to my old artwork and retooling it. Everyone always yells at me for it. But sometimes it's for a good reason. And this was a good reason. I wanted something because I knew how hard this was going to be, having not developed a fandom first. I wanted something that hopefully no one's ever seen before. I haven't seen everything, but I know I haven't seen this personally. Mm-hmm. And that was my only rule for this. That was it. Like, I need something. And then basically just the idea, the concepts that the story gives. They're starting new, but there's still going to be things lying around that they can use. So it fits the concept of the story. It looks cool. It's a totally new thing that I've not seen. And that was my only process going in, is just, what haven't I seen? And this was basically, for me, this was it. Yeah.
These headlights on the end of that carriage here.
Yeah. Those are actually what pull the carriage.
It's very, very creative.
Yeah, those are what pull the carriage.
Yeah, that's actually part of the propulsion system.
Yeah, those are the propulsion.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, those are little power things. So instead of the horse, those are what pull the carriage nowadays in our story.
Right. So what's the energy source?
Electromagnetics, basically free energy, Tesla type, like not Elon Tesla, actual Tesla stuff.
Right. Beautiful. And you also drew. No, you didn't do this, but you drew these covers?
I drew all the covers except for the one by Rob Willis, who unfortunately and fortunately outshined me. Rob Willis is a monster, dude. His artwork's amazing. But all the other covers are mine.
I love it all personally.
I love it all.
Rob Willis did an amazing job. Like,
yeah,
I think just the tone of it, he changed a little bit and made it kind of unique in his own. And that, but I still think Ron's art is amazing. This is as much his baby as anything. I gotta toot his horn a little bit on the tech stuff because one, he's very critical of what he came up with before, which looked great. Like, I mean, total like 80s Blade Runner type stuff. Great. Like, it was just really cool. And then, he came up to me. He's like, yeah, I really wasn't happy with it. Like, we gotta stand out. And I think that I've done that. And I totally agree. He came like that, like, as far as, ideas go, like that technology concept, he really is like, he had that was all him is what I'm trying to say. Like, that was not me at all.
Thanks. Mike, I completely agree with you, by the way, about Tesla. Completely agree.
Mike says, I like the premise setup. It reminds me of a 2002 cliffhanger series, High Roads. Though you guys have more going on.
I had that series. Dude, that series was killer. That was really cool.
I haven't seen it, but I might check it out.
It's an older comic series. It was actually it was drawn really well.
Yeah. So Mike, David loves the dress, the design of the dress.
Yeah.
The violet dress. Yeah.
So we're both pretty influenced. I actually used to run, in fact, Sector-7's current Twitter account used to be an old like retro and modern gaming account I used to run. So we're and Ron's a gamer as well.
Not like you, but
well,
I enjoy, but no one. Yeah.
I used to have
a gamer.
I still have a pretty substantial collections, but I used to number my game in the thousands. Now it's, in the hundreds, but, I used to be really big into that world. So we do have some video game influences there. Right. Oddly enough, her name, since I developed the concept for that character and Ron just did an amazing job bringing her to life. Absolutely nailed it. But her name is Tetra Primrose. And actually, since I named her that, other characters have kind of emerged with similar. The Primrose was a character in a Japanese RPG a number of years back where that was her first name. But it was just funny how over time, if you're not quick enough, those ideas just
they're just
end
in
up
the
popping
ether.
up.
Those ideas are just in the ether.
Yeah,
it's whoever grabs them first, man.
Yes.
That being said, Superman is not the only hero with a cape. So it's okay to have capes. It's okay to have different takes on the same things.
Sure. So this is also your art, right, Ron?
Yes. Yeah.
This is fantastic, man. So,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So will this be colored or will it stay black and white?
It will. The same, or at least, okay, so the covers are definitely are all going to be in color. Even if we don't hit our stretch goals, the book's going to be black and white. The colors are going to be cover, and it's going to be by the same colorist who did cover A, which is Matt Yackey. He's kind of an industry vet, and dude is awesome. Dude is absolutely straight professional, really sweet guy to talk to, puts you at ease. He's not, you don't feel nervous talking to him, even though he's been around a while. He's worked for all the big boys and well worth it. If we hit the stretch goal of having a colored comic, we got to see who we can afford. Because Matt Yackey's affordable, by the way, very affordable. But for our budget, probably not for the whole book, But I still want him on the covers. I want him on the cover. So I will.
It's not really a stylistic choice, but more budgetary thing.
Yeah, it's going to be if the whole book, if we hit the stretch goal and the book gets colored, it's going to, I mean, here's the thing. It is going to have to look good. It's not going to be like, well, this is what we can afford, so let's slap some colors on. Because I'd rather have black and white at that point. I've seen plenty of nice line art get ruined by color, which is why Matt Yackey, well worth it. But it's going to have to definitely be someone that can not. I've seen colors flatten good line art plenty of times. So it's going to have to be affordable, but someone who can also handle the job.
Absolutely. I agree with Ron. I would rather go without than have it done poorly. And just to give some context, one of the reasons we were really ambitious with our goal during that first
we didn't think we were, but we were told that we were. So.
Well, we didn't know what we didn't know. So we kind of talked to Matt Yackey very early on, and a good portion of that, a third or more went towards that. We actually paid out of pocket for Rob Willis to do that cover. We have a significant financial investment in this already, so that we definitely kind of reassessed some things and scaled back, and now it's just going to be up to folks and how they feel about us and whether they want to see it to come to fruition or not. So
it was part of the advice that we got from
Immortal Rising.
The Immortal Rising. It was part of the advice, And have you thought about black and white? Well, that was actually my first thought, was to do it in black and white with color as like maybe only color the complete edition at the end. And then me and Matt were looking at the book and we're like, this really needs to be in color. So
I'm a color guy.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I like the idea of both, but if I can only have one, I want the colors. But again, like just trying to make everything work. Like, would I rather see it black and white than not happen? Yeah, of course. Let's do black and white. Let's make it happen. Whatever we got to do. I'm hoping. I think when we started out too, I might have been a little naive. I thought, in the kaiju community, the kaiju groups, I really thought it would have caught fire more than it did. But what I'm realizing more and more over these past few months is that kaiju content's not what it was 5 years ago. There's a lot more of it out there now. Godzilla's American Monsterverse being successful really changed that. I think really going all the way back to Pacific Rim, in 2011, you saw this gradual increase in awareness of this genre in the United States, at least. And I guess I kind of miss. I had a bad conception of what that would look like when we went live. So if you would have told me, like, out of all the thousands of people in these Facebook groups that, we couldn't get, a few hundred people to go and back us, I would have thought that was crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It really is.
But it's really hard. It's really difficult.
The biggest reality of this is, how do you get people to stop scrolling, click on what you have, and then actually and then that's the last part. We've gotten a lot of likes. We appreciate everyone. We love the fact that everyone's sharing us. We're getting retweets, we're getting shares on Facebook. There's a lot of eyes and a lot of talk. But ultimately, like, if folks really would like to see this happen, we need to convert that into some backers, and we hope to see that happen. I think we just need some momentum to get that ball rolling. We have time. And
it's not going away anyways. If it doesn't fund this time, I'll do 5 more projects. I'll build my name up and we'll launch it again. Because it's going to happen.
This project and the campaign actually got Ron a job drawing another comic for Chris Faction.
Nano
13.
Yeah. So that's literally how I'm paying rent right now. Thank you, Chris. Thank God. So yeah, if it doesn't fund now, it's not going away. It'll just be here next time. And the only thing that's going to happen is people will miss out on not being as entertained as they could have been if they had just backed it now.
Yeah, we're going to keep at this. We believe in the story. We believe in the product. Yes. We know it's going to be good. It's just a matter of, how do we get there?
We're building the cart while the horses are running. So it's really hard. But hey, we're doing it. So.
Look at that page, though. I mean, Is that not incredible? Like,
It's good.
It just blows my mind.
Thanks, man.
It's good, yeah. Guys, in the chat, the link to this campaign is pinned in the chat. Please check it out, browse it, share it with other people, help this campaign succeed, bring some more eyes on this. You can see the quality here. These guys are very passionate about this. They've worked on this for a long time. Look at this. This is nice.
Amazing.
Lot of stuff going on. Yeah, cool.
These are some of the earliest, the first pages actually of the book. And that scene.
This is literally page like 1 through 5.
Yeah, it's literally like page 1 through 5.
Yeah.
That scene there with one, I got to just comment on your highlights there. Like, it's just so amazing how you use the white to really make it look illuminated. It's amazing. But I had pitched, one of the first things I pitched, actually, I think the day we met, was the scene of Neil Armstrong looking at the Earth, and you see him like shedding a tear through the visor, and in the reflection you see all the nuclear bombs going off on the Earth in the reflection. Right. And Ron brought that to life in way I saw it, and it almost brought a tear to my eye because it was just so ridiculous how he was able to bring that.
Thank you, Jaded One. Thank you.
Yeah, good. So Ron, where did you learn how to draw?
I think probably like most comic book artists, myself. To be honest, myself. I've always been that typical. Yeah, I think as most of us, to be honest, the best artist in class and stuff like that. And I did go to college for illustration. What I learned there, you literally could have told me in about 15 minutes. You know, do this, don't do that, be careful of this, and go practice. I can do that on my own, you know. So, yeah, most of it is just knowing what you like, like if I don't like something, and this is a little thing that I do, whether it be a movie or a comic, if I don't like it, I won't put it aside until I figure out why I don't like it, because I don't want to make the same mistake.
Right.
That's actually a major part of my process, is figuring out why I don't like something.
Right, but can't that sometimes work against you, that you can't let a page go and move on to the next one? Yeah. The hardest part for me is putting out even one panel that I don't think is good enough, and that is really difficult. But so far I've been lucky. I've had time to kind of go back and like even with Chris Faction's book, I'll send him like page 6. Like I always send him the finals on Friday night, and I'll send it to him. Okay, page 6 is done, but so you know, I'm gonna redraw the last 2 panels. And Chris is like, okay, cool, it looks great, but I'm like, no, I can do better. So. And this is all digital, right? Yes, it's all digital. God, I wouldn't be able to do any of this without. And I'm 47, so digital to me is still new. I fought digital for a long time until you could actually pick up the iPen and draw on the tablet itself. And that's close enough to pencil and paper. I'm like, okay, I got to try this. And it really made, I deal with generalized anxiety. I have my entire life. So even drawing gives me anxiety. Drawing does make me nervous. So the digital part of it really helped to alleviate a lot of the anxiety, because with 2 clicks of my fingers, I can erase 100 mistakes in 5 seconds. Right. And that is the plus to digital. It's such a time saver for me. Yes, certainly. I see you're also selling some original art. So does this mean that some art you drew traditional? I will draw that traditional. Yeah, if someone's going to pay me $100, I'm not going to send them a file. I'm going to send them a piece of paper. Yeah, it's going to be comic size, 11 by 17. Oh, this is a commission. This is not something. That's a commission. That's a commission here. Get it. All right. Cool. Right, guys, you can check out the perks. We're running out of time, but you can check out the perks. The link is in the description of the chat. or pinned in the chat and in the description of the video. And so please check it out. Let me refresh. You now have eight backers. FundMyComic can be a bit slow when you refresh it. Let's hope it won't take too long.
We've noticed it is a little bit slow. We've been kind of hovering at that number.
What do we got? 8 still?
Yeah, it's still 8.
Yeah,
8 still.
But we're gonna keep our spirits up. We're not. Gonna
8 used to be my lucky number. I'm starting not to like it anymore.
I know, right? We've been at 8 for a couple of days. And
I don't even care. Listen, here's the thing. I could either laugh or cry. And I'm going to freaking laugh because really the only day that matters, to be honest, and it can be stressful. The only day that matters, the only minute that matters is the last minute on the last day. That's it. The rest is up to the gods. I can't do anything about that. I can just do as much as I can.
We have a lot of time left.
The unique thing with crowdfunding comics, right, is that you slowly grow. So with mainstream comics, usually number ones get sold plenty, and then it slowly goes down with new numbers, right?
Yes.
But with indie comics, it's the other way around. So what you sell now, if people like it, they will come back for the second one, and they will tell other people. But this takes time. This is a long process, and you should not compare yourself to other creators who are like 10 years into the game, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Isn't that interesting? It's just one more reason how the indie world is actually backwards from the mainstream world.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, that's interesting. Okay, guys, please check it out. Share this campaign with everyone. So let me stop the screen. All right, excellent. All right, to close things off, I like to share something of my own for just a minute, guys, because also on FundMyComic is Perfect 10. It's the second chance campaign. So if you missed any of the 3 previous campaigns on Indiegogo, you can get all 3 books right here. It's so if you love superhero stuff, if you like action, if you like sexy art, like werewolves, awesome supervillains, like we have art from Randy Green, for God's sake. We have Paul Rodriguez on the artwork.
I love Randy Green. So good.
I couldn't believe he did this for us, man.
So cool, dude. So awesome. And dude, I've been retweeting your stuff for months. I love your stuff.
Oh, thank you so much, man.
Of course, I love it.
Thanks so much. Yeah, we're working hard on issue 4 right now, but we still have a long way to go. And in the meantime, you can get the first 3 issues and help us fund issue 4, right? So Alan Goldman made some art also. We have some free prints for you guys. We made this second chance print specifically for this campaign. You will get it free with your order, and you will also get this free safeguard print, guys. So check it out. We have Crossworlds, which is a crossover comic between JM Comics and Antarctic Press. Check that out. So yeah, awesome. The link is also in the description of the video. Please share it, guys. So yeah, just a little pitch, right? Ron, Matt, thank you both so much for being my guests today.
Thank you, Dave. It's been really fun. It's great meeting you. I've been looking at your tweets, and I've been following you for a while. It's really nice meeting you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Awesome.
Let's hope Sector-7 will be a success. We will sure try to help you in any way we can. Do you have other streams planned to go on? Maybe.
We are actually pushing more lately. I've been invited on some live streams lately, which has been really cool. Like I did right before here, I did a live stream drawing with someone else, and it's happening so quickly now that I actually can't remember the name. I'm so sorry, but it was from Critical Blast. Like we met a lot of people from the last interview that we had with RJ from Critical Blast. Mm-hmm. We've met so many people in like 4 days that it's been like, oh my, like I haven't even had a chance to like remember everyone's name, but I love
No.
everyone. I'm not going anywhere. I love you guys. Thank you so much. And I'll be on more live streams. And what do we have next?
We have tomorrow. I'm going to be on with a comic book live stream. Ron's going to be working, so
I'll be
working. Joining me.
Yeah.
Then later this week, or maybe into the following week a little bit, depending on how things shake out. If you're into the kaiju stuff, I've got more stuff planned for that. We're going to be doing a watch party of some obscure kaiju related shows and movies. I'm going to be doing another Let's Play, probably not as long. We're going to break it up into like 1 hour segments, but our initial one was very long. I did it in one straight shot, 3.5 hours it took.
It was a long time.
But we're going to break those up into some smaller segments of Let's Play older kaiju games. I'm going to invite other kaiju experts, Godzilla folks, all that good stuff.
Excellent. And that's your own channel, right?
Yeah, that'll be on the Sector-7 YouTube channel. Basically, any Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, if you put the @ symbol inside Sector-7, that's pretty much our username on all those venues. Both of our we have a second trailer that's on our YouTube right now. The first one that you played, and then, of course, the 3.5 hour epic Let's Play of the first Nintendo Godzilla game.
And then on Romo Art on YouTube, I'll be posting videos as well. So I've got a few up there. I did one last night, and I'll be doing a bunch more this week. So yeah, we're getting out. We're building that cart while the horses are running. So we'll get there.
Yes. All right. Keep moving, guys.
Thank you, Dave.
Chat, the links to these gentlemen's Twitter accounts are in the description. Please follow them. And special thanks to the chat, to everyone who showed up today to watch us. Thank you so much. Without you guys, there's no point. So thank you so much. If you enjoyed the conversation, please give the stream a like. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. And I'm very sorry. So next week, I'll be back with a new guest on the same channel, same time. I hope to see you guys then. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on!